Good morning, everybody. It's like 6:30 in the morning, and on a Saturday, and not too many people out on the street. Of course, because it's Saturday, and tomorrow's lockdown, which means everything is closed and nothing's open, and no work, basically. um, Let me tell you guys something. Don't tell someone who just got out of a relationship, even if it's just 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, whatever, to move on after so little time. It doesn't help that person. It makes them mad. I posted something on Facebook yesterday, and my aunt got mad and told me that the other person is a bitch and a cheater and a liar and whatever, and told me to move on. This is a family member. Let me tell you guys something. Don't tell someone after 2 weeks to move on. It's not gonna do anything. Actually, it was not something I wanted to wake up to. How do you expect someone to move on after 2 weeks, after 1 month, after 3 months? It's like someone died in your family or in your circle of friends. How do you expect someone to grieve after such a little amount of time? I'm not saying it's wrong to try to slap them in the face with the truth and tell them to move on and do this and do that, but the simple fact is you can't move on after 2 weeks. Let's be realistic. You can't move on after 1 month. You know, there's a saying that guys are easy to let go but hard to move on. Girls are hard to let go but easy to move on. I'm a guy, so it's not easy for me to move on. It wasn't even easy for me to let go because I didn't do anything to warrant this situation. I'm not the one that broke up with the person. But telling someone to move on so quickly is like telling them to stop having an addiction. Can you tell someone to stop drinking just like that? You can't. You can't tell someone who's been drinking for 6 years or doing drugs for 6 years to just stop. You can't do it. You can't. It's physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally impossible to move on so quickly. That's why there's plans to kick the habit, right? And it takes people years sometimes to kick a habit. Love is like a drug. It's like an addiction. It's like gambling. It's like having a sex addiction or a alcohol addiction or a drug addiction. It cannot happen right away. I don't use psychology and my experiences and all the things that you've experienced and whatever, because like I said, everybody's different. But the simple fact is, trying to have someone move on so quickly is actually detrimental to someone's well-being. That's like saying don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. At that moment in time, someone might feel that's their only escape, their only way out. And you telling them, get over it, move on, stop crying. You think that person's going to stop just because you said so? No. Nobody's going to do that. If it was that easy, you think there would be anybody in my position or in those people with depression or bipolar or schizophrenia? No. Because it's impossible to just stop. If you drink coffee every morning and I told you to stop drinking coffee, could you do it? No, because it's an addiction. You need your coffee in the morning. Now that's just a small addiction. That's not even a major addiction. My relationship of 6 years is 6 years. That's 6 years of an addiction. And it's not even just a physical addiction. It's a mental, emotional addiction. A mental addiction. So telling me to move on is unrealistic. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm trying to make you understand telling someone to move on doesn't help the situation. If it wasn't that it was a family member, I would answer sarcastically. I would attack them mentally and emotionally. I would make them feel that they're dumb. Because that's exactly what it is. It's a dumb statement. I would use, oh, ikaw kaya. Ang galing mo. Meaning, oh, you could do it. You're the best. Because I haven't met anybody who can do it except cheaters. And even cheaters feel guilty. They don't move on. They fill it with something else. They fill it with negativity by depending on the new person to help them move on. You cannot move on after 2 weeks. You cannot move on after 1 month. Some people could do it in 2. Some people can do it in 3. But in the short run, they cannot do it. So don't expect me to do it. I never expect people to move on right away. I have never told anybody move on. I have a friend who dated a girl for a while, and she broke his heart by going abroad and meeting someone and getting pregnant and whatnot. I have never told that man to move on. Because you can't. You cannot tell someone to move on. Because it's at that person. It's that person's choice. My choice at this moment in time is not to move on. My choice is to live one day at a time. You're forcing people to see your views to the point that they don't want to talk to you no more because you told them to move on after 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Don't let anybody force their opinions on you because everybody has an opinion. Right or wrong, everybody has an opinion. But when someone forces their opinion on you, just like trust in God, have faith, believe in the future, you'll find someone else, you'll do this, you'll do that, that's pushing their opinion on you. You think that's going to help somebody? No. That's not being supportive. That's being domineering. That's being pessimistic because you don't believe in that person growing as a person. You don't believe that person can get over it. That's not friendship. That's not love. That's not concern. That's concern for you and your well-being because you're hurt just like that other person, but you're hurting in a different way. You're hurting in a different manner. And you hurt because you see your friend hurt. But instead of being supportive, you're telling them to move on so you can move on. You can't move on after 2 weeks. You can't. You can't do it. If you can do it, you're the best. You are the best. I will give you that. But if you can't move on so quickly, don't tell someone else to. Life is life because it is. We all go through different ways of dealing with things. We have different ways to cope with the situation. But don't force me to get in that little spot of your opinion because you don't want me to hurt anymore. I don't want to hurt anymore. You think I want to hurt? You think I want to hate people? You think I want to feel lonely, depressed, lost? No, nobody wants to feel that. Come on, let's be realistic. Let's be honest with ourselves. But don't put me in a small box. Because I already feel trapped. And then you're telling me I'm wrong because of how I feel or how I'm dealing with something. You're wrong for trying to put me in this little box so you feel better. That's not a friend. That's not a family. That's someone who is selfish. And you don't want to be selfish. You want to help that person because you love that person. You care for that person. But you forcing them into a little box so that you think they're going to get better isn't helping the situation. You might actually burn bridges by doing that. Life is tough. It's already hard. You don't want to make things worse for that person. So why do it? I've always talked about being a friend is easy. It is. It really is. But telling them that you're tired of seeing their post, you're tired of seeing them be emotionally depressed and saying useless things, you're not a friend. You are not a friend. You're not a family member if you're doing that. I know it's going to hurt people. But again, listen to my words and what I say instead of listening to what you want to hear. So you can see the positive in things. You see the negative. You see, oh, John is still pining over this girl. John is still depressed over this girl. He should move on. No, you should move on. You should move on from that thought that it's that easy. It isn't easy. And if you think that is, you're the best. I'm not trying to agree or disagree with your opinions, but don't force your opinions on me. You're assuming that you're right. And you know what they say about assuming? It makes an ass out of you and me, because you assume you're right. Don't put me in that small box. You're making me feel even more trapped than I already am. Someone hurts you. Someone hurts you emotionally. It takes time to move on. I can say right now, I have two emotions for that person. One side loves her. The other side hates her. Only time will tell which one will win. You cannot expect people to choose right away. You can't. I have heard and known a lot of people that's been addicted to drugs. They lose everything. Everything in life they lose. You think they stop doing drugs? Half of those people don't. They lose everything plus. Because they choose to lose everything for that drug. Because it's not easy. They might want to choose to stop, but they can't. Because it's an addiction. Just like love. Love is an addiction, guys. Love is an addiction. You are addicted to love. And just like love, it releases serotonin. It releases these happy thoughts and moments in life. And when you break up, your serotonin disappears. Because you don't have that drug anymore. You hit rock bottom. Serotonin doesn't just miraculously go back into your body. It takes time. I'll be honest. I used to take ecstasy. Ecstasy releases all the serotonin in your body. That's why you make it feel good. That's why it makes you feel like you can do anything in the world. That's why people get addicted to it. Because they don't have happiness in their life. Ecstasy gives them happiness. A quick fix to their hurt. But it doesn't fix the problem. It just releases it momentarily. So don't expect people to take a happy pill or to just wake up the next day after 2 weeks or 1 month or 2 months or whatever, and be okay. Or even better, telling them to be okay. Just like you can't tell someone to love you because you love them. It doesn't work that way. There is a process, guys. There is a process. Psychology says it. The norm says it. People that's been through this say the same thing. There is a process. There's a grieving process. Then you feel hate. Then you feel self-pity. Then you feel that it's getting better. And then there's you're better. But if you skip these things where you feel depressed and then you feel okay, there's something wrong. It's not healthy. You can hate someone and still love them. That's why they say it's a love-hate relationship. I love to hate someone. And right now, I don't know where I'm at the moment. I feel like I'm still grieving, but I'm at that point where I'm hateful. That means I'm making progress. But again, telling me to move on after 2 weeks, one month or whatever, doesn't help the situation. It's like taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes you take 2 steps forward and take 3 steps back. It takes time and progression. Understand. You don't get better overnight. You don't kick a drug habit overnight. You don't stop smoking overnight. You don't stop drinking coffee. You don't stop doing drugs. You don't stop doing all these things overnight. If you do, you're going to get slapped in the face. Because that happy feeling goes away too quickly. It's like a roller coaster. A minute roller coaster makes you feel like you're floating. But after the 1 minute, it's gone. I'm at that age where I don't want that to happen anymore. I've been hurt too much already. She brought up the past. My family member brought up the past. You did this with Amanda. You did this with Liz. You did this with Brittany. Yes, I did. I did do this with these people. And I'm still here. You see? I'm still here after all those people broke my heart. And you guys don't realize, I'm not going to give you a big backstory, but all the people I mentioned was not just a fling. These are the people that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 3 years, 6 years. You see where I'm getting at? It's not easy. I don't have self-confidence. And so when someone loves me, I love them back 10 times more. Another family member told me, John, maybe you pushed her away. You did this, you did that. Maybe I did. But in my brain and in my heart, it hurts no matter whose fault it is. Let me have my moment. If you don't like it, thank you so much. You can delete me. You can block me. And when you're ready to see if I'm okay again, I'll still be here. Because that's what friends and family do. They're here to the end. That's what I do for my peoples. Why can't you do it for me? If you don't like, you don't like. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be just like you. People have different times of coping. People have different ways of coping. Don't be selfish. Don't force yourself on somebody. It's not going to make things better. And I realized every time I got in a relationship, even when I wasn't ready, I got in a relationship. This time I don't want that. I want take the time to properly get back into it. That's all. Anyways, guys, I know you're tired of hearing me cry and mumble and grumble. But like I said, be a friend. Be supportive. Tell me, okay lang yan dyan. Andito ako para sa'yo. That's a friend. That's it. If you guys don't understand what I just said, just say, that's okay, John. I'm here for you always. That's a friend. If you can't be that friend, block me, delete me, do what you need to do. Because your well-being is more worth than my well-being. Because you have your own life. Simple as that. Anyways, guys, I need to start cooking my oatmeal because I have a gym in an hour or something like that. So I gotta do what I gotta do. Lots of love. I hope you understand a little bit better about relationships or about how to help someone in this process, because apparently a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Because every day I hear move on. Every day I hear God has a plan for you. Every day you'll find someone better. That's not support. That is not support. You think it is, but it's not support, guys. Google is your friend. And you'll realize I know what I'm talking about because I'm experiencing it. I didn't Google nothing. But I know how to be a real friend and a real family member. Do you?